Hey, I am here to talk about anxiety and also compassion and the whole COVID-19 phenomenon. We're just beginning it in the US. It's been happening all over the world, and we're part of this whole world, and we're all the same. We are all one. And so I want you to work with anxiety that comes up for you in a way that doesn't take it personally, that actually acknowledges this anxiety I'm feeling is the same anxiety that any human being feels. And if you want to really not take it personally, you can look across the eons and think that basically part of a human life includes meeting anxiety. And when we're in a huge event that's scary, that actually will cost lives, has cost lives, and we don't know where we stand in the whole, well then there's anxiety, to be sure. And it's simply something human beings must grapple with. In the US, we're very fortunate that few of us have actually spent time in a war zone, and some people spend their whole lives in a war zone. So, here we are having a discrete event, a temporary thing in which we are scared of what's right here, right now. And so let's meet it, and let's meet it kindly, and let's meet it feeling not particular, but experiencing our oneness with the whole, because that is super, super helpful. So I actually have a process that I want to take you through, and it combines dealing with meeting, compassionately showing up to connect to anything you're feeling, with connecting to other human beings who are feeling the same thing, or who have ever felt that. And it allows you to come very close to what you're feeling, not deny it, not shove it down, but also meet it in a way that's fruitful, that's loving, that could even be soothing. So no denial, no bullshit, but also coming close to it, not in a way that freaks you out more or allows the mind to take hold and run. So let me take you through that process first, and then I may or may not want to say more. There's more to say about anxiety. I may come back around and do that again. So I will post a blog post link that's called "This is what X feels like" from my website under this video, and it will walk you through the process I'm about to take you through. So basically in the X we can fill in any human thing that you're feeling in a moment, and that is universal, or that other people have felt too. And truly, there's not a thing that you could come up with, there's not a feeling you could have that isn't shared by other human beings. So we take our particular experience very personally, and we rev that up by going over the specific details of the story, like, oh my God, I cannot believe the way they betrayed me. And we go over the specifics and details of that, and make the pain, the wound around the betrayal worse. But in fact, if we pan out from something like a betrayal and accepted that part of a human life is playing the role of the betrayed and the betrayer, you really can't get around it. If you don't actually betray someone, someone will accuse you of that because of how they interpret something you do. Sometimes people interpret someone just breaking up with someone as a betrayal, just because of what was said in the sweet, intimate, connected moments when you thought you could make it last. So X, you can fill into the X anything. So this is what anxiety feels like. Or if anxiety isn't what you most experience dealing with COVID-19, could be fear, could be worry, could be any number of things. Anger, frustration at what other people do. So you could just fill anything you want into the X. I'm going with anxiety because I think that's just a pretty surefire thing to get awakened for most human beings during a time like this. I have certainly been connecting to my own. So this is what X feels like. So I invite you to close your eyes if you can. And I always like to have you begin with connecting to your body, Ground yourself. Feel your body against furniture, your feet on the ground, if your feet are on the ground, but just feel your feet if they're not, if you've got feet. And really experience that right now you're in a human body, and can you actually feel the components of that human body connecting to anything so that you ground yourself. I am here, and I'm willing to be here. In this moment in time, here you are. Are you willing to be here? Because this is what's happening now. This is it. So I invite you to allow it. But notice that the earth has got you. Gravity has you. Your needs have been met for many years, probably. And I want to invite you to start right now cultivating a habit to notice all that supports you. And right now, wherever you're sitting or standing, there is support underfoot. And you can always count a bunch of things that support you. Even super simple things like an open sky, a squirrel playing a game out the window. Okay, I'm going to invite you now to connect to breath, and I don't need you to take a deep breath or manipulate the breath. I invite you to simply connect to the breath. Feel it. The breath is an amazing felt sensory experience, and we typically don't feel it, so take your time right now. This is a great time to just experience. Let yourself be bored with it. Just experience what breath feels like right this second in your system, and this second, and now, because it's going to keep shifting. And when you don't manipulate the breath, but give it your awareness, let yourself feel it, there are things you can start to notice. You can notice again that you're here, and that you're willing to be here. And you can notice that the breath of life is coming through you. So right now you're alive, and life is supporting you to be alive. Because you actually don't have to require the breath to come in. Sometimes people get so sick that they're struggling with breath and then they stop being able to breathe. But that is not what's happening to you right now. So love the gorgeous gift of breath. And feel it. Feel how it moves, how it opens things up, how it refers to other places. Maybe it bumps up against the tight walls inside you if something's tightened up in your anxiety or fear or frustration. So let the breath just stroke up against those places. The breath judges nothing. It's not mad at you for what you're feeling. It's not thinking you should feel anything else. It's not in an argument with anything that's tightened up in your system. It's just going to stroke up against it and love you. Bring you life. You don't have to earn it. You could have just been a shit to your kids or whatever. You could have done something stupid. You could have gone out and exposed yourself to too many people before you understood about flattening the curve. And you can look up Flatten the Curve if you still haven't read about that or listened to that or considered that. And you don't have to. Right now, just feel the breath. Let it support you. Let it show you its gentle kindness. And now I want you to tune into the anxiety in your system, or whatever it is you want to plug into that X. This is what X feels like, is what we're doing. So find the X that you want to plug in. Anxiety, fear, frustration, anger, helplessness, powerlessness, whatever you've got. Being mad at yourself, being furious with someone else that you think is handling something wrong in this crisis. And so locate it in your body, and as you breathe, just gently start to direct breath toward that X. So I'm going to say anxiety. Wherever the anxiety is in your system, give your breath to it. Because the breath is a wonderful thing to surround any bodily sensation with, and our emotions register in the body as sensation. The breath comes and creates space around that. It starts to create a spaciousness where maybe you're tight. It does bring you to the core of your being so that you can feel more self-connected and more grounded. Directing the breath to this X, to this anxiety, to whatever hurts inside you, is a way not to abandon yourself. It's a way to meet the sensation with awareness and something physical that literally helps. It's going to calm down your nervous system. That might bring you down a notch or two. Maybe before you even notice it, it's already doing that. It's a kind thing to do, whether it's working or not. So I really invite you not to say it's not working. What you need to work is simply that you stay with the breath, that you kindly, in order not to abandon yourself, keep directing breath to what hurts. Because you are worth your own care. Now, we're going to start to depersonalize what you're feeling, but I'm going to have you travel around the globe. So we're going to keep it with the theme of COVID-19 here. And so I want you to go to China, to someone who's now feeling anxiety in the aftermath. So find a face, pick someone of any age, any gender, identity, any socioeconomic level. Just make up a human being. Picture a Chinese face as best you can, and see if you can breathe into the anxiety in your own body, or the whatever, as you breathe it for this person, as you feel compassion for this person who has reason to be anxious following the crisis. Maybe somebody they love died. Maybe they're not sure how they're going to pick up their life. Maybe they don't know how they're going to get on in the next day, never mind month or lifetime. So locate your compassion for that person and breathe it as you feel it in your own body. And if you want to see more than one face, just travel around China and other Asian countries and just breathe different faces, different beings, and think to yourself, this is what anxiety feels like. Knowing it's theirs and yours together. And maybe nobody's walking them through breathing it right now, so you can do it for both of you. And now I want to invite you to go to Italy. And as my understanding is that people are still quarantined there now. Streets are mostly empty. Somebody's anxious there. Find an Italian face, or many if you want. Find different gender expressions, different ages, different skin colors. You know, there's not just Italian people in Italy, and some Italian people came there from other places originally. So picture different people, lots of different people, and they're anxious right now. Maybe someone where they're quarantined is sick. Maybe they are. Maybe they're alone. And so breathe it. Breathe the anxiety in your body for you and an Italian being who's just like you. And feel it. Breathe it. Do it for both of you or all of you. And say to yourself, this is what X feels like. This is what anxiety feels like. And maybe you're finding that it's easy to have compassion for these other beings. Now go somewhere else. Pick a different continent. Pick a different face or faces, different skin colors, ages, genders, socioeconomic levels, anything. Picture people in huts and mansions and find them experiencing anxiety about the coronavirus right now. And breathe it with them, because it's in your body, this anxiety. So you breathe into that. And you give that breath and compassion to these others. This is what anxiety feels like. It's not special. It's not particular. It is a human thing. It is active now. So we could keep going, and you can keep going, and I will post a link that walks you through it in words. to remind you, or that you can share with others if you'd rather share something written, refer back to. And now I just want you to come back to the breath. I invite you to keep your eyes closed if you've been doing that, and just for a moment, just do some cleansing breaths that require nothing of you, just to feel the breath moving in and out. Do this often. This alleviates anxiety, or at least has the potential to, but it's a way you're not abandoning yourself, because you're here, breathing yourself, or watching yourself being breathed. Byron Katie likes to say, you are a human being breathed. Don't even have to work for the breath. And now I want you to connect to the anxiety. Nope, that's already, we've done that. I want you to connect again to the compassion that you were feeling for the different beings you traveled around to look at. And can you bring that compassion now just 100% fully to yourself? Breathe it in. Imagine that you could see yourself totally with nothing but compassion. Or if this language works for you, can you see yourself as Source sees you? Nothing wrong with you. No gripe against you. It's not a punitive universe unless you make it one. You could imagine your angel gazing upon you if that works for you. If you're a pure scientist, you can imagine standing in the most beautiful natural place under a sunny sky, just knowing the experience of grace through sunlight and the sound of birds and the swaying of the breezes. And just feel compassion for yourself, a human being, here in this moment in time, right here, right now, in this place where you are. And this is what anxiety feels like, whatever you're still feeling of that. Can you just give yourself compassion? And if you're going to die in this, don't you want to have compassion for yourself as you go? Don't you want to not take your death personally, but share it with others kindly, lovingly, dispassionately? Which doesn't mean you won't freak out or be in fear sometimes, and there's no problem. There's no problem with picking yourself up from wherever you land on your ass and just finding the next kind thing to tell yourself, or getting out of thought by dropping into breath, or getting out of your story by visiting others all over the globe. We're all one. And breathing into your own system what you and any human being is likely to be feeling just right now. So I'm going to stop there, and I'll come back with other mental tactics to deal with anxiety. And I'm just seeking to show up here on Facebook Live and give love, give support. We're all in it together. And if you want to post questions, I will answer them. So far, no one's taking me up on that, but whatever works for you.